Welcome, Odlings, to another Game Order production. I'm proud to present to you Gamedec. This LP is dedicated to Getter 77. Let's begin now.
It's a strange profession, Gamedec. You're neither a player nor a detective. You know the rules and how people break them. How they leave a digital trail. And there is always a trail. A flaw in the source code. Backdoors used by cheaters. Anonymity skins, used to cover up unpopular activities. All can be found. All can be traced. With a lot of skill and a little bit of luck. Sometimes more than a little. Because there are surprises, even for a Gamedec. But in the end, you keep your eyes on the prize. This is my story. What's yours?
Let's create our character. Power. I like power. Devitalization is a process generated by a player's helmet. It is responsible for activating a game pill. It is similar to the natural process of falling asleep generated by the pawns. It entails disconnecting the brain's motor and sensory centers from the rest of the real body. Thanks to this, a player can move the limbs of their character in virtuality and receive digital sensory stimuli, and at the same time lie still on a couch and feel no real stimuli. The only muscles that are not devitalized are the ocular motor muscles. Exactly the same exception occurs during sleep. This phenomenon can be observed in the REM, rapid eye movement sleep phases. I didn't remember why I had become a Gamedec. At some point, I must have decided that it was a reasonable way of making money. Then I just got used to it. I solved numerous cases, so people started to believe I was credible, and credibility was crucial in my line of work. Pretty much everything can be falsified, but you can't fake credibility. Games, besides being my workplace, also became my second home. Did I ever play for fun? Fuck yes. Sometimes I did. I was surrounded by real world. That is, Realium. I could hear Warsaw City humming outside the window. I lived in Towerstone in Wola. It was the end of the 22nd century, and the people were crazy happy. Kidding. Somewhere. Which group did I belong to? I wasn't sure. It was time to check if there were any new jobs. Warsaw City, Mypolis. Walkways, squares, space, and chasms. That's what modern cities look like. The middle layer, mid-city, despite dense developments, you can still see the sun and pieces of the sky, as well as a long way down. I felt a connection with the people above and below. I could hear the transit tubes, new mobiles, the humming ads. It was never quiet. This was where the rich met the poor, and light met darkness. A place where you could pretty much be whoever you wanted to be, and where advertising drones peeped through people's windows, looking for new victims. It was time to face reality. First, I could use a drink. Aspects are part of a Gamedec's personality, expressed through actions, thoughts, emotions. Be kind to gain the empathy aspect. Inspire someone to gain inspiration. Sleeves. Survival instinct, that's what characterizes you best. Life is a game with no rules, and if you trust the system, it will betray you. You don't hesitate to use forceful solutions, but you can use your brain just as well. You know life is about being tough. We got a lot of reading to do, folks. Holo vision. Holy shit. The latest domestic and international news all day long. Today is Monday, July 17th. My name is Gina Gord, and this is the news. Wait, she shouldn't sound like that.
Ken Zhao, the young star of Good or Bads, loses the game miserably. Zhao blames everything on glitches in the game. Could this be the end of the youngster's career?
Fuck him. A virtual couch made by Surfer Industries. Not one of their newest models, but it was still reliable. At least, I thought it was. A poet would call it a gateway to sensory worlds. To me, it was just a tool of my trade. It was starting to fall apart. I needed to replace it. Damn it. Such important gear wouldn't come cheap. I couldn't afford it at the moment. I needed a few jobs first, or one big job that paid well. Fluid levels were low. I still had a few tanks left, but it was always good to have reserves. Done. Delivery drone would be here in a few hours. My last session. Couch showed an error message and a suggestion to restore default settings. Maybe Surfer Industries couches weren't as reliable as I thought. This thing's glory days were long gone. A game deck shouldn't skimp out on things like this. It was time to consider buying a new one. Let's check my mail. My computer has controlled the couch, communicated with household appliances, let me send messages, and did everything else. It was old and could use an upgrade, but it still worked well enough to be reliable. A few emails from clients I'd helped. I needed to reply to those. First message, Senator Stone was grateful for working out what his daughter was doing into Dungeon 1337. I wrote that I was happy to hear from him and asked how his daughter was feeling. She was hot. It's good to nurture relationships with clients. I got through the other emails quickly. Some were invitations to events, some were spam. I replied. Maybe someone took pity on me and offered me a job while I was away in Virtualia. A job, and it was urgent.
I have a discreet and urgent matter for you. I'll pay good money. Please get back to me ASAP. Geoffrey Haggis.
Mr. Haggis was worried. I needed to sense him. Hello, Geoffrey Haggis. I got your email.
Oh, you there? Please come see me. Blue Whales Interactive Tower, level 255. South entrance. I'll tell you everything when you're here.
I think we should negotiate a down payment. Hold on, let's have a little respect for each other's times. I don't know anything about the case, and I'm not sure whether a certain amount...
I get it. You want a down payment. I'm transferring it right now. I hope it's enough. Yes, great. I'm waiting.
He disconnected. What a douche canoe. Let's look up Haggis. The Director of Programming Department at Blue Whales Interactive. Wife Eleonora, son Frederick. Frito to his friends. His assets are recorded in 8-figure amounts. I kept digging, talked to some shady contacts. Haggis recently ordered a D109 Duo Shield, a hidden safe open with music. Interesting. Blue Whales Interactive, or BWI, the leader in the field of AI. Their flagship product, the dating game, Paradise Beach. A little less known but still popular game was the Knight's Code, a clan battle game based on medieval Japan. They made luxury helmets, and ladies and gentlemen, they could make human beings. The Pygmalion upgraded AIs mimicked human psyches. Void Stars. I earned in several games, but was recently focused on one, Void Stars. Still in development, even though it had already been released. It was supposed to be bigger than all previous space simulations, though it was hard to imagine. I'd already bought a few ships, I just couldn't help myself. They were damn expensive, but what the hell? I loved looking at my fleet. Sounds a lot like Star Citizen. I entered the hangar, where it was the spawn all ships option. I found and selected it. What a beautiful view, starting from the lightest vessels. Flyrock, an interceptor spacecraft, Slidehawk, an assault unit, Orca, an infantry carrying dropship, the gunship Giant, and the two jewels of the crown, Corsair, a big exploration ship, and Skywalk, a merchant vessel, as solid as it was bulky. Beauties, all of them. The Vulture X would really make this collection shine. The much hyped Vulture X was sure tempting. A fantastic exploration vessel, the medical bay, a hangar, the scouting ship, strong armor, a crew of bots at your command, all for a bargain price. The price would increase later. Damn it. I couldn't afford this baby, given the state of my finances. Welcome to the Void. We know you want to play, and so do we. Unfortunately, we are carrying out a maintenance check, so we can constantly improve. We'll be back soon. Too bad. Could have done some flying. Let's go make some money. Solid doors protected me in my apartment. Or maybe they protected Warsaw City from me. The roof of Undercity is one of my favorite spots. Even though I'm standing on one of the lowest walkways in Warsaw City, I feel like I'm on top of a fucking mountain. Below me is a 150-meter long gaping abyss stretching over the seemingly endless ruins of old Warsaw. A ground cleaners company, Cyclops, chugs away in the distance, clearing rubble from old blocks of apartments. If you look hard enough, you notice bonfires made by savages among the dust and fog. I can hear the humming of a nearby MCC beacon standing guard and watching over me. Yes, the ROU is definitely one of my favorite spots. The director's office is behind that door. Mr. Haggis is expecting you. The man took a deep breath and let out air through his nose with a loud wheeze. He took a good look at me. You're here, good. Mr. Haggis, I'm a Gamedec and...
Yes, I know, wonderful. Something's wrong with my son. He's not getting off the couch, and, well, you'll see for yourself. It's been over 4 days. He entered some game with his friend Timmy. I tried talking to Timmy, but he's clammed up. His condition makes me worry even more. My son is on the couch in the next room. Let's go there now. Here he is. Find out what's going on with him and how he can be helped.
Haggis' son was wearing an expensive brand-name suit, and a state-of-the-art helmet covered part of his face. The couch's side panel warned that he'd exceeded the online time limit. I couldn't help notice the genital area of his gaming suit was bulging. I leaned over to get a better look. To get a look at the number, I had to lift the boy's head. I gently grabbed his head and tried to turn it a little. Fredo moaned.
Careful, you're hurting him.
I turned his head to access the helmet's technical data panel. The boy exhaled heavily. I took a good look at the panel and scanned the helmet's serial number. The suit was equipped with advanced anti-bedsore software. It resembled the skin of a slithering snake. The nanofiber material was adjusted to fit the muscles, provided stimulation, and protected the user from dystrophy. I ran my fingers over the suit's surface. The synthetic fibers emitted more heat in the places where they needed to work harder. Haggis cleared his throat impatiently.
I welcome your conclusions when you're ready.
The 11 bits, discretion and comfort couch reeked of luxury and unattainability. The system masked the player's login information. The small screen displayed Fredo's vital signs, pulse, muscle tension, and brain activity. Despite the high-end hardware, the kid was sweating and using much more neutral fluid than he should have been. His body was exhausted.
Any conclusions? I'm starting to lose my patience.
I looked at him the way you'd look at a dead bat in Low City, with contempt and disgust. He took a deep breath and leaned his face closer to mine before shooting back an ugly, contemptuous look of his own. His beady eyes held one clear message. You've forgotten your place, you piece of trash. Come on, you cunt. Meet me outside like a man and I'll punch your fucking teeth so far down your throat you have to chew through your asshole. I thought to myself and then sighed helplessly. Please note that these are initial observations. Your son is fine. He's just playing something exciting. He's been logged in for over 4 days, but there are no signs of adverse effects from the session. This is some excellent equipment. Doing a hard extraction by taking the helmet off is a huge risk, and logging out remotely.
Isn't possible, I know that, you idiot. That's how most systems work, so don't you know where he's logged into?
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to determine that. I need to find out which game Fredo logged into, and then take the appropriate steps.
Fine, just hurry. Fredo's friend Timmy is in the office. You can talk to him. Just don't touch anything else.
He glared at me for several long seconds, then glanced at his bulge in his sunsuit.
Get the fuck to work!
I took his hand. It was slightly trembling, but a normal temperature. That happens in games that generate lots of adrenaline. His fingertips were covered with sweat. No, not sweat. I rubbed the sticky substance between my fingers and sniffed. Berries and chewing gum? I leaned over and looked under the visor of his helmet. No signs of extended online stay. Expensive supplements did the trick. He had irregular skin discoloration near his ears. I had no idea what could have caused them. I grabbed his shoulders and shook him a few times. No muscle tension. He wasn't faking. The quiet sounds of the suit massaging devices grew louder as the supporters brought his body back down to optimal position. I noticed the gold frame as soon as I entered the room. It looked like gold, but I wasn't certain. It was easy enough to check. I took out my badge and used it to scratch the smooth surface. A deep groove appeared. Gold. The painting of Joffrey Haggis. Oh, those directors and their inflated egos. But why was it hanging in the hall? A receptionist in love? Or maybe it was just a corrupt policy. Corporate policy. I didn't have time for artistic elation. Fuck all that. The computer on the desk was not secure. The empty workspace exuded corporate solitude. The nameplate on the desk read Junior Customer Support Specialist, Idris Ikari. The screensaver slideshow changed between landscapes beyond the ABBS and the towers of Warsaw City. Breaking the sequence, an image of two women embracing appeared on one of the monitors. One of them had blue hair. I barely touched the screen and gained access to the desktop. It wasn't locked. There was an open BWI presentation and an unfinished hand of solitaire. I just couldn't leave the game unfinished like that, so I started to arrange the cards on the screen. I finished. It wasn't too bad a score. I saw 3D blue whales flying through the clouds, the company's logo. The animated slides presented the financial results of the last quarter. I copied the presentation to look at later. There was nothing more to see here. We need some blue balls. The kid looked around with terror in his eyes. When I approached him, he trembled.
Are you gonna question me?
Calm down, we're just gonna talk. Questioning is best left to the police. I'm here to help Mr. Haggis' son. So let's just get to talk, alright?
Okay, I want to help.
He nodded vigorously. Tell me what happened.
It was Fredo's 16th birthday, and we were inside an adult game.
He turned red and stared intently at his shoes.
What do you want to know?
I needed to look around for something to loosen his tongue. Plus, this kid was a pussy. There was a rather provocatively dressed 20-something woman on the couch. The device's panel was flashing warnings. She must have been planning a short session, since she didn't put on a suit. She looked like one of the women I had seen on the computer screen in the hall. Is this your assistant?
She's just a random lowlife. Leave her alone and get back to my son.
Agnes's face swelled up with anger. I'll do what I feel needs to be done. You know your work, I know mine.
Fine, but I'm warning you, don't fuck this up.
Who is she?
I don't know. I've never seen this whore before.
She'd exceeded the safety limits for the logged-in time, over 4 days without a suit. She must have taken a game pill, or her bladder wouldn't have held out. She started revitalization, but something interrupted the process. Even though she couldn't control her body, I thought she could hear me. Her helmet had an external monitoring port. I could connect to it and see what happened. Haggis noticed what I was doing.
What the fuck are you doing?
I want to talk to her through the observer's port, which is...
I already know what it is, so stop insulting my intelligence and hurry the fuck up.
When I connected to her helmet, the image was transmitted to my lenses. The girl drifted in undefined space. It wasn't the network menu or any of the games I knew. Hello, I'm a Gamedec. They called me the Game Order. I was hired by Mr. Haggis. I connected to your helmet. You can talk and I'll hear you on my walktel. According to the login, your name is Starlet. Is that right? She moaned like she was in pain.
The Gamedec. That's great. Yeah, I'm Starlet. I can't seem to log out.
Let me try to help you.
That's a weight off my shoulders.
Interrupted revitalization is rare. I could have just pulled off her helmet, but that might have ended badly. There was a safer solution. Revitalization is like waking someone up. The senses are activated in a specific order. Hearing is usually first, so Starlet was already active. Revitalization stages are displayed on the progress bar, but I couldn't recall the right order. I only remembered that vision was definitely last. Okay, Starlet, I think I know how to wake you.
Wait, I hear laughter. What's happening?
My deck detected the girl's helmet being bombarded with exabytes of data. Someone wanted to overload it and terminate our connection. Starlet, someone is trying to either stop us from talking or probe me.
Damn it, what are you gonna do?
The attack was intensifying. I didn't have much time. I'll activate some barriers to block the signal, but it's only a matter of time before they crack. It was possible to use jamming barriers to slow the attack, or some much weaker reflection barriers to track the attacker's source. I activated the barriers, but I didn't know how long they would hold. Starlet, I put up some barriers. I bought us some time.
Great, it's about time we get the fuck out of here.
We don't have much time. I'm gonna try to get you out of here.
Finally.
The correct order was key. The revitalization bar had stopped on stimulating proprioception. It seemed right to start with that. Starlet, I'm gonna try finishing your revitalization. I'm gonna need to touch your body. Is that okay?
Do whatever is necessary.
I felt around for Starlet's arm, and the Reelium raised it and moved it around. The revitalization bar moved forward. Proprioception complete. A good start, but the screen didn't display the next stage. I decided to stimulate her inner ear, her sense of balance. I gently raised the girl's head.
Oh, something's happening. I feel dizzy.
That means your inner ear has been stimulated. I can stimulate another sense. It was time for the sense of smell. I knew it was connected with taste. I hesitated, and then I pulled out my piece of mint gum. And then I blew in her face. I didn't know how fresh my breath was, but I took the risk. I leaned over and blew under the helmet into her face, then waited.
Hey, I smell something strange. Now I have a weird taste in my mouth. Tastes like salty.
That means we're on the right track. I took Starlet's hand and squeezed it.
I can feel your hand, finally.
Now comes the vision. I'm about to take your helmet off. It should stimulate your vision and motor functions. I gently slid the helmet off her head.
Finally, thank you.
Those words didn't come through the walktail, but directly from her lips. I was just about to terminate the connection when I saw a message.
Gamedec, whoever brought you into this game doesn't understand its rules. Go home and go to sleep. It's for your own good. Don't get involved.
The attack ended and I got disconnected. But not before I told that guy to fuck off.
Well, Gamedec, you actually impress me. Can you wake up my son now?
I'll do what I can, Mr. Haggis. But your son's a little bitch. Alright, time to talk to Timmy.
Yes, sir?
Your friend. Tell me something about Fredo. Anything you want.
He's my buddy. Same school and stuff. Once this kid Alex called me names, so Fredo flushed his walktail down the toilet.
He smiled at the memory.
Then he altered the hollows in the school gallery to give Alex a pig snout that constantly oozed this disgusting mucus. Fredo's brilliant. All right, I believe you want to help. It was for Fredo's birthday. Did I already mention that? I'm not sure. So we logged into Paradise Beach. It's a place where adults get together. You can read all about it in the description.
It turned red like my grandma's geraniums. How are things between Fredo and his father? Do they like each other or not?
Old man Haggis is paying you. No matter what I say, you'll take his side anyways. The truth lies where the money comes from.
He grunted and pursed his lips.
What else did you want to know?
He sounded like a player with a slow connection. Either he was deeply stressed or something was wrong with his nervous system. Has anyone been threatening Fredo? Did he have any enemies?
No way. Everyone likes him and admires him. He's the best in graphics and animation, and he has awesome skins and bitchin' results in Fast Fury. He bought the best speeder, the one for 15,000.
He bought a digital ride for his father's cash, and it made him popular.
They like him because he's cool. Well, some people try to take advantage of him. He makes decisions quickly, doesn't hesitate to buy something, do something, or whatever.
Impulsive decision-making is a weakness. An intelligent enough opponent could notice it and use it against him. He was looking at me with distrust.
You're a Gamedec?
Focus on what I'm asking, or I won't be able to help you, friend. Timmy lowered his head inside.
But why are you tormenting me? You think you're helping Fredo? Mr. Haggis doesn't care about his son. He just cares about his image and avoiding a scandal. Fredo tried lots of things to get his attention. Once he jumped off a walkway in the outskirts and landed in a tree. He broke 2 ribs, and old man Haggis never even came to the hospital, just sensed once. Fredo was finally taken home by that guy, Alfred. Don't you get it? Don't you effing get it? No one cares about us. They do. Don't give a fuck. What's the point?
Tell me, Timmy. Why is Fredo still inside the game?
I don't know. He liked it there and wanted to stay for as long as possible. Maybe he was having fun.
Could Fredo have lost track of time? It would have to have been an amazing session to disregard the danger of exceeding the permitted playtime.
Are there many more questions?
He looked at me with tired eyes. Several. He took a deep breath, straightened a little.
Good.
Tell me, Timmy, you celebrated Fredo's birthday in just one virtualium?
Yeah, but we did some pre-gaming here first. Kind of overdid it. Fredo had trouble putting on his suit.
He realized that he had said too much and stopped. Come on, Timmy. Either you tell me everything here just between us, or I go get Mr. Haggis and you can say it to him. What will it be?
Old man Haggis won't do anything. He doesn't want to piss off my parents. Fredo, he treats him like crap anyways.
He clenched his jaw and looked away. He was getting more confused and exhausted. You're doing great. I can see you're mentally a tough guy. Most people in your place wouldn't be holding up as well. His lips twitched, and he lowered his eyes. He believed me. What were you doing inside the game?
Well, what you normally do in an adult game.
You mean something erotic? Violent?
On the beach with girls. We held hands. I gave one a back rub. She liked it.
Timmy's behavior told me he clearly had never rubbed anyone. Ever. The kid shot me an uncertain look. Why'd you choose Paradise Beach?
Well, to have some fun.
What does that mean? What were you looking for?
You can feel what the other person is feeling. We wanted to experience it with girls.
His eyes returned to his feet. He started to tremble even more.
Fredo he's in danger, right?
I won't sugarcoat it. Fredo could die. He hit his face in his hands.
It's not my fault.
Where was Fredo when you came out of the game?
He was on the beach by the big dunes.
Did Fredo want to stay on the beach, or did he want to go somewhere else?
Fredo was having a good time. He probably stayed in that world, in that area.
He had the look of a 5-year-old who logged into a horror game by mistake. What can you tell me about Starlet?
She's a stripper. She knew the game well, so Fredo hired her as a guide. She was very brave.
He started to pick at the collar of his suit. What did she do that was so brave?
She was dancing so flirtatiously and teasing us. She was so direct.
He was embarrassed just thinking about the girl. She knew little of the world, but was brave enough to guide us. And she was so provocative. Oh, wait.
She was so provocative, thankfully mainly toward Fredo. She barely spoke to me. Sir, is Fredo in pain?
You don't call a Gamedec for no reason, Timmy. If Fredo's trapped in the game, he might be terrified. He might feel helpless, be in pain. Or someone might be feeding him contradicting sensations, making him go insane. The boy gulped and quickly blinked. Timmy had tears in his eyes.
please leave me alone. I can't remember much. I don't know what actually happened.
He had trouble putting senses together and remembering the events. It wasn't just shock. Something had really disturbed his nervous system. Your nervous system gets overloaded, but it will regenerate. It will pass. Breathe. Let's focus on you, Timmy. You left the game even though your friend kept playing. What happened?
I didn't want to leave him. I was feeling bad, shaking. Yeah, I know you don't leave your friends behind.
He looked as if he was going to cry. What games do you like, Timmy?
Whatever Fredo plays. Space sims like Dream Space or Dying Stars. Shooters too. Crying Guns is our favorite.
He loosened up. He'd like to talk about games.
I don't want to talk to you anymore. You're saying horrible things. You're not nice.
I need to save Fredo, not protect your delicate sensibilities. If you want to help your friend, you'll answer my fucking questions.
It seemed impossible, but he hunched over even more.
Are you alright, Timmy? You're slurring your words and trembling. How do you feel?
Not too good. I'm a bit dizzy, but that's from fatigue. We played for a long time, you know.
Doesn't seem like fatigue, Timmy. Tell me what happened.
You don't believe me? We didn't do anything strange. I'm a good gamer. And I gave it my all. That's why.
Frustration worsened to stuttering.
I don't want to. Please, I'll talk. I'll tell you. We went inside, twisted and perverted. It's a world where people hurt each other for a pleasure. I don't get it, but that's the way it is. Fredo, he's still there, and I'm sure, please find him. Just go find him.
He started crying. I didn't think I could get anything more out of him. Twisted and perverted, huh? Sounds legit. The floor was sticky in that spot. The stain was a light blue. Berries and chewing gum. A barely noticeable trace of liquor. It was probably a very expensive liquor. I ran my fingers across the stain and touched my fingertips to my tongue. Sour. The ethanol was long gone. I caught Timmy's surprised look. He cleared his throat and looked away. I was running an investigation. All details mattered. Infolia files all open to the PWI homepage. I took a few. Sometimes old habits are hard to break. The article was about Pygmalion, the flagship PWI product. It allowed you to create living human psyches. I copied the rest of the codex to get it back to it when I had more time. A harp. For ages, the instrument has attracted both artists and common mortals. Made of authentic exotic wood richly encrusted with ivory, the pedals were probably gold-plated, expensive stuff. I remember that Haggis had ordered a musically open safe. It made me wonder whether the sounds of this harp... No, I didn't believe you install such a dumb system. I looked within for some inspiration, closed my eyes, and surrendered to the moment. I struck the strings with my fingers. The room filled with a subtle but decidedly cacophony sequence of sounds. I thought maybe if I practiced a bit.
What are you doing? Do you know how much that's worth? Do you even know what it is?
I do. Do you? He looked at me with suspicion, as if I had uncovered one of his secrets. The investigation was waiting.
Sincerely apologize. I was told to take the boy Timmy home. The new mobile is waiting. Thank you. I hope you can help Fredo.
Bye, Timmy. Hang tough. The animal looked as if it were frozen in time. Submerged in a transparent resin substance, the panda seemed alive. I noticed a panel with a single red button at the base of the display. The hidden anti-G mechanism buzzed as it moved the polymer resin blocks apart. If the bear could talk, I thought he'd have some interesting shit to share. I knocked softly. It felt like the animal glanced at me. Split blocks revealed the creature's intestines, where there was still some digested food left. It seemed like the organs moved slightly in a barely visible contraction. Or maybe it was just the light. A piece of the floor stood out from the rest. There was no chance of flaw in the design, not in a building like this. It looked like a hatch. It had to be sound activated, safe, that Haggis had installed. The safe was sound activated. Such devices typically react to their owner's voice, but can also be tuned by something else. My eyes focused on the harp. I found a list of songs for automatic playback under the movable ivory ornament. The room filled with a cover of Lost Love, a hit from the last decade. I never heard the click of the lock opening, but I imagined that there was one. It was time to loot. There was an open safe under the floor. I needed to check for leads inside. Inside the leather briefcase, I found holos of a young man holding an attractive woman in what looked like a loving embrace. A closer look at her face and body language made it clear that she wanted to get away. Without a doubt, the young man was Fredo. Then I realized the woman looked like one of the girls I had seen on the secretary's computer. There was an infolio file attached to the holos. I checked it out. It seemed Haggis was being blackmailed. A figurine resembled the tree decorating the office floor. A gold plate with the words Axis Mundi was engraved on its stand. Plenty of game pill packages, an LSD, CC, stay on target, even an L pill. Not illegal, but what would he be doing with an L pill? I returned to the investigation. A stream of stock market quotations appeared on the screen. The hardware was high-end, just like everything else in these rooms. System access was blocked, but I convinced I could log in if I tried. This had to be the hardware that was monitoring Fredo's couch. I used to break in Auro cars. These things couldn't have been much different. I pulled some cables, then decided to break off a suspicious-looking contraption. Something clicked, and it turned off. Strange.
What are you doing, idiot? This thing is worth more than you in your entire fucking life.
Something's wrong with your computer. There are rumors of a hacker targeting corporate CEOs. He's called
CEO Slayer, yeah, I heard about him.
He lowered his head and muttered to himself.
Another son of a bitch can't catch a break? I'll put my people on alert. Get back to your investigation.
Damn, I didn't have the right profession to get in there. Fredo might still be in Twisted and Perverted, an adult-only world that mixes sex with violence. I should log into this game. He looked at me with disgust as if to let me know I was wasting his time. Mr. Haggis, I've come to a decision about Fredo.
I'm listening.
Fredo might be inside the adults-only world Twisted and Perverted. You know, the one combining sex and violence? I should look for him there.
That's what I was afraid of. Do your thing. The access fee for the Virtualium will be taken care of. All expenses are on me.
Something bad had happened in TMP. Fredo must have been there, so I needed to go in. That wraps it up for this episode, folks. Stay tuned for more Gamedec.